old house breathed. Or at least, that's what it felt like. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of wind through the eaves seemed like a sigh. It had been a gift, this sprawling Victorian with more shadows than sunlight, left to me by a distant aunt. I jumped at the chance to escape the cramped apartment and the suffocating normalcy of my city life. I'd envisioned quiet evenings, books by the fireplace, a sanctuary. I hadn't factored in Arthur. Arthur wasn't alive, not in the way most people understood it. He'd been the previous owner, a man who died in the house, or so the hushed whispers from the town folk went. A recluse, they'd said, a collector of the things. I dismissed it as local folklore. But then the whispers in the house began. It started subtly. A door I'd firmly closed would be found ajar. A book I was reading would be moved to a different shelf, always slightly out of place. I'd blame the drafts, my own forgetfulness. Then came the sounds, purposeful sounds, footsteps pacing in the attic when I was alone. A low, guttural hum emanating from the basement, like a trapped animal. My dog, Barnaby, would stand at the foot of the stairs, hackles raised, staring into the darkness below. One particularly stormy night, the power flickered out. The house plunged into an inky blackness that felt heavier, more oppressive than usual. I fumbled for my phone, its flashlight beam a weak defense against the encroaching gloom. As the light swept across the living room, it caught something. A figure standing by the fireplace. It was indistinct, a shape darker than the shadows, like a hole punched in reality. It was tall, gaunt, and I could swear it was watching me. My heart hammered against my ribs. I backed away slowly, my breath catching in my throat. I fled upstairs, barricading myself in the bedroom, Barnaby whimpering at my feet. I spent the rest of the night awake, listening. The house seemed to hold its breath. When dawn finally broke, painting the windows with streaks of pale gray, I crept downstairs. The figure was gone. The fireplace was cold and empty, but on the hearth, etched into the ash, was a single, perfect handprint. Too large to be mine, too sharp in its outline to be accidental. The occurrences escalated. I'd wake up in the dead of night to the distinct feeling of someone standing at the foot of my bed, a heavy presence that made it difficult to breathe. I'd see fleeting glimpses of movement in my peripheral vision, a dark shape that would vanish the moment I turned to look. The air in certain rooms would drop several degrees, carrying with it a scent like damp earth and something metallic, something ancient and unpleasant. One evening, while I was trying to make dinner, the radio in the kitchen suddenly blared to life, playing a jaunty, old-timey tune that was jarringly out of place. But it wasn't the music that sent a shiver down my spine. It was the voice that accompanied it, a low, resonant whisper that seemed to coil around me. "You shouldn't be here," it rasped, the sound seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "This place is mine." I finally understood. Arthur wasn't just a ghost, he was a possessor. He wasn't haunting the house, he was claiming it, and he was making it clear that I was an intruder. The old house, once my sanctuary, had become a prison, and the unseen tenant was slowly, methodically, trying to drive me out. And I was beginning to wonder if I would be able to escape before he succeeded. So tell me, can you hear the whispers in your own home? Do you feel the chill when you're alone? If you think you're safe, you're already in his grasp. Subscribe to the Aqeela Files if you dare, and see if you can survive the next story.